Reeves appears ordinary and simple. Everyone is shocked. Sandra Bullock walked into one of the most exclusive luxury boutiques in Beverly Hills, dressed in a casual but elegant outfit. Jeans, a white blouse, and sunglasses resting on her head. She had come to pick up a gift for a friend's birthday, not expecting any special treatment, just a quiet shopping experience. As she stepped inside, a boutique manager named Victoria glanced at her from head to toe with a skeptical expression. The store catered only to elite customers, and Victoria had made it her mission to filter out those who, in her mind, didn't belong. "May I help you?" Victoria asked, her tone laced with disinterest. Sandra smiled. "Yes, I'm looking for a handbag, something classic but stylish." Victoria pursed her lips. "Our handbags start at $25,000, she said, emphasizing the price as if to deter Sandra. "Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of the department stores down the street." Sandra raised an eyebrow, surprised but amused. She had been in this situation before, underestimated because she wasn't wearing an obvious display of wealth. But before she could respond, the boutique's glass doors swung open, and in walked Keanu Reeves. Unlike Sandra, Keanu was dressed even more casually. Black jeans, a slightly worn t-shirt, and a backpack slung over his shoulder. His hair was slightly messy, and he looked like a regular guy just passing by. Victoria's demeanor changed in an instant. Her eyes widened, and she practically leaped forward. "Oh, Mr. Reeves, welcome. It's such an honor to have you here." Keanu smiled politely. "Thanks. I was just looking around." Victoria beamed. "Of course, we have a private section in the back, just for VIP clients like yourself. Let me show you the finest selections." As Keanu glanced around, he noticed Sandra standing there, arms crossed, watching the scene unfold with an amused smirk. He chuckled. "Actually," he said, turning back to Victoria, "I'd like to shop here with my friend Sandra." Victoria's face paled. "Oh, you know her?" Keanu grinned. "Of course, she's a Hollywood legend." A hush fell over the boutique. Other employees and a few customers were now whispering amongst themselves. The boutique manager's embarrassment was visible. She had dismissed Sandra Bullock, a world-famous actress, while practically falling over herself to impress Keanu, who had arrived looking like an everyday guy. Sandra, ever gracious, leaned in and said softly, "It's okay. I'll take that $25,000 handbag after all." Victoria, now flustered, stammered, "Right away, Miss Bullock." As they walked out, Sandra turned to Keanu with a smirk. "I think you just enjoy making people uncomfortable." Keanu laughed. "Not really. I just enjoy seeing the truth come out." And with that, the two left the boutique, leaving behind a room full of stunned employees and a lesson no one would soon forget. Never judge people by their appearances. What do you think? Want any tweaks? As Sandra and Keanu stepped out of the boutique, the fresh Beverly Hills air greeted them. Sandra held her newly purchased handbag in one hand, shaking her head with a smile. "I swear, this happens more than you'd think," she said, glancing at Keanu. "People judge you in 2 seconds based on what you wear." Keanu chuckled. "Yeah, I know the feeling, but honestly, I don't mind. It's kind of funny watching how quickly they change their attitude when they realize who they're talking to." Sandra nodded. "True, but it's still annoying. I mean, I wasn't even looking for special treatment, I just wanted to shop." Keanu gave her a playful nudge. "Well, at least you got a great bag, and I got to witness some first-class awkwardness." Sandra laughed. "That was priceless." Just then, a fan, a young woman in her 20s, walked up to them hesitantly. She was holding her phone, her hands shaking slightly. "Excuse me, I don't want to interrupt, but, oh my God, it's really you. Both of you." Keanu and Sandra exchanged amused glances. "Yep, it's us," Keanu said with a friendly smile. "Would it be okay if I took a picture with you?" The fan asked nervously. "You both are my favorite actors ever." "Of course," Sandra said warmly. She leaned in, and Keanu did the same. The fan snapped a selfie, barely able to contain her excitement. "Thank you so much. You guys are seriously the nicest celebrities ever," the fan gushed. "I saw what happened in there, by the way," she added, nodding toward the boutique. "That woman was so rude to you, Sandra. I wanted to say something, but then Keanu walked in, and the whole energy changed." Sandra chuckled. "Yeah, we noticed." The fan shook her head. "It's crazy how people treat you differently based on how you look. But honestly, you two are the real deal. Just so kind and humble." Keanu smiled. That's really nice of you to say. We just try to be ourselves. The fan beamed. Well, it shows. Thank you again. She waved excitedly as she walked away, still buzzing with excitement. Sandra turned to Keanu. You know, moments like that make up for all the bad ones. Keanu nodded. Exactly. There will always be people like that, manager, but there will also be people like her. Sandra sighed, then grinned. All right, enough shopping for today. Coffee? Keanu smirked. Only if I can pay. Sandra gave him a dramatic eye roll. Fine, but next time it's on me. As they walked off down the street, their laughter filled the air, a reminder that, in a world obsessed with appearances, true character always shines through. The end. Want me to add anything else? Maybe a fun twist at the end? As Keanu and Sandra strolled down the street, heading toward a quiet cafe, a sleek black car pulled up beside them. The window rolled down, revealing none other than the boutique manager, Victoria, looking flustered and desperate. Miss Bullock, Mr. Reeves, she called out, leaning out of the window. Sandra and Keanu stopped, exchanging amused glances before turning back to face her. Yes, Sandra said, crossing her arms. Victoria forced a nervous smile. I just wanted to apologize for earlier. I didn't realize who you were. It was a terrible mistake, and I truly regret it. Keanu raised an eyebrow. So if she wasn't famous, would you still have treated her like that? Victoria's face turned red. I mean, of course not. We treat all our customers with the utmost respect. Sandra smirked. Right. Except when they're not wearing designer clothes. Victoria opened her mouth, but no words came out. She knew she had been caught. Keanu, ever the gentleman, gave her a small nod. It's okay, but maybe next time try treating everyone with kindness, whether they're a celebrity or not. Victoria swallowed hard and nodded quickly. Yes, of course. Have a wonderful day. She rolled up her window and the car sped off, leaving Sandra and Keanu shaking their heads. Think she learned her lesson? Sandra asked. Keanu chuckled. Maybe for now, but some people don't change. They finally arrived at a small, cozy cafe. Nothing fancy, just a simple local spot. Keanu held the door open for Sandra and they walked inside. As they approached the counter, the barista, a young man with a friendly smile, greeted them. Hey there, what can I get for you? Sandra glanced at Keanu. You're paying, right? Keanu smirked. That was the deal. He turned to the barista. 1 black coffee for me and for her. He looked at Sandra. Cappuccino extra foam, she said with a grin. The barista nodded and rang them up. When Keanu pulled out his wallet, Sandra couldn't help but laugh. His wallet was old, slightly worn out and stuffed with receipts. You really are the simplest man in Hollywood, she teased. Keanu shrugged. Why change what works? They took their coffees and found a table near the window. As they sat, Sandra took a sip and sighed. This is so much better than that stuffy boutique. Keanu nodded. Simple things are usually the best. They clinked their coffee cups together like champagne glasses and laughed. At that moment, neither of them were Hollywood stars. Just two friends enjoying a quiet afternoon far away from the glitz and glam where real moments mattered. The end, for real this time. How was that? Want an even bigger twist at the end? Or is this perfect? As Sandra and Keanu sat in the cafe enjoying their coffee in the peaceful atmosphere, the door suddenly swung open. A group of well-dressed influencers walked in, their cameras and phones at the ready. They scanned the room, looking for the perfect Instagram-worthy spot. One of them, a woman wearing oversized sunglasses and a designer outfit, gasped when she saw Keanu and Sandra sitting casually at the corner table. Oh my God, it's them! Within seconds, the entire group swarmed their table, phones flashing as they whispered loudly amongst themselves. Wait, why are they here? One of them muttered. This cafe isn't even luxury. Do they actually drink normal coffee? Sandra stifled a laugh, while Keanu just sipped his black coffee like nothing was happening. Finally, one of the influencers, a man in an all-white suit, leaned in with a wide smile. Mr. Reeves, Miss Bullock, we're huge fans, he gushed. Would you mind if we got some pictures? Maybe a quick video. It would be epic content. Sandra glanced at Keanu, who raised an eyebrow. He could already tell she was going to have fun with this. Sandra set down her cup and leaned forward, speaking in a serious tone. Actually, we're on a secret mission. The influencer's eyes widened. What? A secret mission? Like for a movie? Keanu played along, nodding solemnly. Something like that. But it's top secret. Can't let anyone know we were here." The influencers gasped in excitement, their phones still recording. "Whoa, that's so mysterious." Sandra leaned in even closer and whispered, "If you post anything about this moment, we'll have to erase your memories." The influencers froze. "Wait, what?" Keanu took a slow sip of his coffee and nodded. "Yep, government technology. It's pretty advanced." The group stared at them, their excitement now mixed with confusion. Finally, the woman in the oversized sunglasses whispered, "Guys, maybe we shouldn't post this. What if they're serious?" One by one, they hesitated, lowering their phones. "Yeah, I don't want to risk it." The group quickly huddled and after a few nervous glances, left the cafe in a hurry. As soon as they were out the door, Sandra and Keanu burst into laughter. "Oh my God, I can't believe they fell for that," Sandra wheezed. Keanu smirked. "People believe what they want to believe." Sandra shook her head, still laughing. "We should do this more often." Keanu grinned. "Next time, let's tell them we're aliens." They clinked their coffee cups again, enjoying the simple pleasure of a good prank and a great friendship. And just like that, the world outside might have seen them as Hollywood legends, but inside that little cafe, they were just two friends having fun, living life on their own terms. The end. For real this time. I had to add a fun twist at the end. What do you think? Want any more surprises? As Sandra and Keanu sat there, still chuckling over their prank, the cafe door opened once again. This time it wasn't a swarm of influencers or a frantic boutique manager. It was an elderly man in a simple brown coat, his hands slightly trembling as he walked in. He approached the counter slowly, fishing a few crumpled dollar bills from his pocket. The barista, a young man with kind eyes, smiled at him. "Hey, Mr. Lewis." "The usual." The old man nodded. "Just a small coffee today, son." Keanu and Sandra, both natural observers, watched the interaction unfold. As the old man counted his money, he suddenly stopped and sighed. "Actually, I think I'll just take a glass of water." The barista hesitated. "Are you sure? It's on me today." But before Mr. Lewis could answer, Keanu stood up and walked to the counter. "Make that a large coffee, and add a sandwich too," Keanu said with a warm smile, pulling out his wallet. The old man looked up, startled. "Oh, no, that's too much, son. I can't accept that." Keanu simply shrugged. "Well, then let's call it a trade. You let me buy you lunch, and in return, you tell us a story." The old man's eyes twinkled with curiosity. "A story, huh?" Sandra, now fully invested, leaned forward at their table. "Oh yeah, we love a good story." The barista handed Mr. Lewis his coffee and sandwich, and Keanu helped him to a seat at their table. The old man took a sip of his coffee, smiling. "All right then, let me tell you about the time I met the king." Sandra's eyes widened. "Elvis Presley?" Mr. Lewis grinned. "The one and only." And just like that, the three of them, two Hollywood legends and one humble storyteller, sat in a quiet cafe sharing laughs, memories, and the kind of simple human connection that money could never buy. The end, this time, I swear. What do you think? I added a heartfelt moment at the end. Did you like it? Want another twist? As Mr. Lewis took another sip of his coffee, he leaned back in his chair, a nostalgic smile spreading across his face. "It was 1956, he began, his voice steady but warm. "I was just a young guy working as a bellhop at a fancy hotel in Memphis. One night, a sleek pink Cadillac pulled up to the entrance, and out stepped the king himself, Elvis Presley." Sandra leaned in, intrigued. "No way." Keanu chuckled. "A pink Cadillac. Classic Elvis." Mr. Lewis nodded. "Oh, he was larger than life. But you know what struck me most? He wasn't arrogant. He treated us bellhops like we were his best friends. He even insisted on carrying his own bags." Sandra raised an eyebrow. "That's rare." Mr. Lewis laughed. "Tell me about it." But here's the best part. Later that night, after all the VIPs had cleared out, I was finishing my shift when Elvis walked back through the lobby. He saw me, handed me a $20 bill, huge money back then, and said, "Son, you got a dream." Keanu and Sandra exchanged glances, captivated by the story. "So I told him I wanted to be a musician," Mr. Lewis continued. "I had a little band, but we were nobodies. You know what he did?" Keanu smiled. "Let me guess, he helped you out?" Mr. Lewis nodded. "He told me, meet me at Sun Records tomorrow morning, bring your guitar." I thought he was joking, but I went anyway, and guess what? He was there. He listened to me play, gave me advice, and even paid for my first recording session. Sandra gasped. That's incredible. What happened after that? Mr. Lewis chuckled. Well, I didn't become the next Elvis, but I played music for over 40 years, toured small venues, made a living doing what I loved, and it was all because one famous guy, took a moment to be kind. Keanu leaned back, deep in thought. That's a great story, Mr. Lewis, and a great reminder. Sandra smiled. Yep, that kindness lasts longer than any fame ever could. Mr. Lewis raised his coffee cup. That's the truth, sweetheart. They all clinked their cups together, Keanu, Sandra, and the old musician with a heart full of stories. As they sat there laughing and reminiscing, it was clear that despite the wealth, the fame, and the Hollywood lights, what truly mattered were the moments of kindness, the friendships, and the stories that lived on forever. The end, this time really. Really for real. Did you like that? I wanted to end on a powerful, heartwarming note. Let me know if you want any changes or a different twist.